In this episode with my guest, Dr. Shivani Gupta, she talks about the health benefits of spices and herbs, particularly turmeric, which she actually got her PhD in India from, of all things. She talks about turmeric being a powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory agent, so much so that I actually switched out my turmeric supplement for hers. So if you're interested in why hers is better and some of her other takes on all the other herbs and spices in Ayurveda, then stay tuned. Real quick, is losing weight after 40 while still enjoying your social life a challenge? Well, you're not alone, because that's pretty much everybody. On the Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast, I share insights from my 15 plus years as a personal trainer and gym owner, helping people like you strike the right balance. For those ready to take action, please sign up for my online personal training program on my website or through the link in the show notes. Together, we'll design a plan that fits your lifestyle and helps you achieve your goals without sacrificing the fun. And remember, everyone is different. We will find a program that works for you. Well, Dr. Shivani, let's talk about our next topic. All the different spices out there. Obviously, turmeric seems like the master spice that can handle a lot of stuff, but what are some of the other ones? I know personally, I use black pepper with my turmeric. Who knows if I'm using the right stuff? I'll let you touch on that. And cayenne pepper for circulation. Those are just a couple of them, but tell me more about the kind of the Ayurveda principles on that.
Sure. So my number one favorite spice by far is turmeric. My entire PhD dissertation was on it. I studied it for years. And I was just fascinated because when I was sitting in a herbology class and learning about all these different spices, they talked about how turmeric is not just anti-inflammatory, which is huge. It's why it's being studied so much. We have over 17,000 studies published in PubMed on curcumin from turmeric because of how anti-inflammatory it is. And that's just fascinating the science world. And what's interesting is it's so well received by the body. So I'm working with professors who are geneticists because they're like, why does it work so well? Like, how come our body is so ready to receive it? But what I love about turmeric is it's not just anti-inflammatory, it's antioxidant, antibacterial, antifungal, anti-obesity, anti-aging. It does so much. It increases blood flow in the body. So for hair, skin, and nails, and a lot of other things, it can increase blood flow, which we want. Increases nitric oxide in the body. It functions like a janitor. So all the things we want to get rid of that our body slows down and stops getting rid of, like foreign cells that don't belong, turmeric just comes through, cleans it out, and gets rid of it. It gets rid of zombie cells that we accumulate as we age. Zombie cells are these cells that form that just start knocking into everything, harming everything. And turmeric goes in there and cleans house. So to me, it's just such a powerful, all-rounded spice that can do so much. And in this modern day time of us not always having the time, I always need what's my one solution that works? I'll guarantee I take that as my insurance policy. And then everything else I do is more like a bonus.
Yeah.
So to me, turmeric's incredible. And I present on it at a lot of medical conferences because I'm trying to show the Western medical world how they can apply it safely using their own science that is published to use it because it extends our telomeres. It has an impact on certain AMPK pathways, just like metformin. When we're inflamed, we're more likely to hold on to excess fat on the body. When we have excess fat in the body, we're inflamed. We're going to hold on to inflammation. So it puts us into a vicious cycle. And most people, as we're aging into our 30s, 40s, 50s, all of a sudden we complain about things like brain fog. Our digestion is off, aches and pains. Like for me, I keep going to the gym and causing aches and pains right now. And we're like, I wake up and everything's achy and everything hurts. These are not signs of aging. We normally say, I'm aging. This sucks. Everything's slowing down. It's actually a sign of inflammaging. And so that's where I want people to understand we're inflamed as a society. And we think that everything sucks when in fact, if we just addressed inflammation, we would realize this is not aging. We don't have to live like this for all of our future decades. We can put this car in reverse and go the other direction and reverse age back to how we want to feel. And that's what I'm about. I want to feel this good or better. I'd love to keep reversing into feeling everything awesome. But I want this energy level as I build my company, as I raise my kids, as I enjoy my life and travel and do all the things. So turmeric's my number one.
I think aging, for people, just think of it as it's the accumulation of all this inflammation that didn't really affect you 5-10 years ago yet. And now it does. Now you nip that and it's like you just went back in time. So I've been using turmeric for a long time. I just don't know if I'm doing it correctly, which is my other question before we move on.
Sure.
First of all, Turmeric and curcumin, I know they're similar. Which one should we be taking, or both? And in how many milligrams? Because right now I'm just dumping some turmeric spice with some black pepper, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. I'm not even sure quality and how much I should be getting.
Sure. So when it comes to turmeric, out of the whole turmeric plant, which is like the raw form of turmeric,
Mhm.
only 3% of it is the curcuminoids. And
Okay.
out of that three, only the one curcumin is the most effective at reducing inflammation. And so a lot of people are telling me I buy raw turmeric at Whole Foods and I juice it and I drink it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's great. We never used raw turmeric in that way in India. For thousands of years, we took that raw turmeric and we dried it into a spice. So turmeric, the spice, is something that everyone's starting to use in their food. That's great. If you're going to use turmeric, the spice, yes, it is a more potent version of it than raw form. Definitely take it and add black pepper or a healthy fat. We know black pepper will increase the absorption 2000%. So when in my formulations, I use black pepper. Healthy fat is also good because we know that it's a fat soluble solution that helps it get where it needs to go as well. So some people will take it with a meal so that they ensure that they had fat with their curcumin. What's interesting to me is in the supplement world, when we take therapeutic grade curcumin to drive that result and reduce that inflammation, a lot of times when you buy supplements, they're not putting in there what they say they are. They're not giving you the right potency. They're not giving you the right dosage. And a lot of them are taking that proportion of curcuminoids and they're messing with it just to drive a standardization result without worrying about how it's going to absorb in the body.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm about. It's like, how do I get the best result? Again, I need an immune system that defends me, or else I don't get to work or live my life. So to me, when I formulate for that. So my thing is, I think everyone should take 500 milligrams of curcumin twice a day with black pepper. You can take that with your healthy meal as well, so you get the fat in there. But that baseline amount we know is a good amount to help reduce inflammation and support the body. Now, should we take any given curcumin every day forever? No. It's important to cycle on and off with any of our supplements. A day off a week or a week off per quarter, however you want to do that. But I do think that nowadays we are running so inflamed as a society. We need to have a toolkit approach to inflammation. It's the spices, and then we'll get into it. But Ayurveda teaches us a lot more for that as well.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the other spices? Let's go down the pecking order of
Sure.
turmeric up top. But what are some of the other ones that
Turmeric
really
is my
stand out?
number one by far.
No.
My second favorite is actually ginger because ginger is the same family as turmeric. It's also anti-inflammatory, has a lot of gut healing properties. So in Ayurveda, we love to teach to have ginger lemon tea right before a meal or first thing in the morning. It's going to kick off digestion. It's going to ignite that digestive fire and get you churning and burning and ready to really absorb what you're about to eat, which is so important. Then my next favorite is ashwagandha because ashwagandha is such a powerhouse adaptogen from Ayurveda. It helps with sleep. It helps reduce stress. Stress's impact on the body. If you're stressed and anxious, it calms you down a few notches. If you're depressed and have the blues, it lifts you up. It's good for neurocognitive. It's good for strength and stamina. So ashwagandha is like my favorite out of all the adaptogens. But what's cool is in Ayurveda, we have a whole toolkit of adaptogens. So Brahmi, which is good for brain health and cognitive and everything, is so good. We have Shatavari, which is good for female and male reproductive organs for virility, potency, fertility, all those things, which also keeps us young. If we want to stay young and healthy, that aspect is also important to bring in there. And I'm using Shatavari a lot for menopause, perimenopause right now, which is cool that it's so effective. But I find that part of what we're not understanding is the level of stress we're carrying and how it's inflaming us. And so I love reaching into the super spice kit and using adaptogens on a daily basis for better sleep or for stress resilience throughout the day. And then all of a sudden you're more supported. If you're less inflamed, then when we're in the gym, we can get those gains we want without battling so much with our body.
Yeah. So a lot of these different supplements, because you're grabbing the best of the best and formulating perfect supplements that blend well. I mean, do a lot of these need to be taken by themselves? Do they compete for absorption, or you don't need to take a sleep one if you don't have problem with sleep? Or is there still benefits to taking some of the supplements you just mentioned for sleep? So it's hard to pick like, which one should I be taking? I feel okay. I mean, I know for turmeric or curcumin, it's just good to keep that one as a baseline. But the other ones, there's only so much stuff you can take. Should you wait until you actually have an ailment, or should you cycle some of these things just all the time?
I think it's important to look at your life seasonally and understand when you need more support. So for example, with my constitution, I usually take the summer a little easy, but then I go 200 miles an hour the whole rest of the year.
Yeah.
And so I look at those 9 months of the year as what do I need on board to stay supported? I need excellent sleep. So I'm going to drink sleep tea to ensure that better quality sleep. I'm going to have those teas during the day that give me stress resilience because just living the nature of what I'm doing, I'm causing stress in the body and I'm going to cause that inflammation. And yes, I can chase that with the turmeric and the turmeric will do its job. But what if we don't let the stress impact the system or the nervous system and we don't keep us in overdrive all the time in fight or flight? And then the body is never in rest and digest. So I think the super spices are really cool to use and play with through our seasons when we need support and when we don't. In an ideal world, I would actually take everything I made every day, but I don't get to it. Like you said, like there's not enough time to make all the cups of tea and take all the supplements throughout the day. But I really do pick and choose because I'm a big believer in supplements. I think we need to take excellent medical grade probiotics, D. We need to understand what we're deficient in and supply our body with those things. Unfortunately, with the nature of food nowadays, it's depleted. It's
Yeah.
not going to give me the minerals I need or the building blocks my body needs. So my body needs me to supplement and take all the things to hold it together because I'm not going to get it from food. And I eat a very fresh, healthy, organic, plant-based diet. I carry my food everywhere. I carry it to work every day. Like every food is made fresh in my house 5 days a week. And even I have, when you look at my blood work, tons of deficiencies that I have to address.
Yes.
That's where I like to share with people, like we have to do the work.
And that's why we had to go into this world of supplementation because of the farming practices that we have here and the depletion of all these nutrients and everything. That's been my other goal that I started last year as well is all the different supplements that I've found that I've been taking that have helped me and talking to experts such as yourself who are in the supplement industry and finding out that there's still ways to get around all
There's a
the
lot.
rules and regulations. So now it's like, I really don't trust anyone unless I talk to them or I listen to them on a podcast or something. Then I'll switch my supplement out from like, just pick one like turmeric and switch to
Right.
yours because I don't really know what's going on with the other big corporation company that who knows what part of the turmeric plant they're actually using or from where. Or so now that's my big thing. And as soon as I find a new one, I sub it out what I've been taking for that new one just to get the better quality.
I think we do have to be so careful. I'm glad you brought it up. I think of it that way too, because if I haven't met the founder or understood who this founder is and what their like ethos and belief system is, I don't want to take the supplement because huge multinational conglomerates are buying up all the companies. And as someone who produces a supplement, there's a
Yeah.
lot of ways to make this thing cheaper. Like I was so obsessed with driving a result. And my factory, my supplier, everyone was like, why are you crazy? Like, why are you constantly looking for more potency and more and jamming too much in the pill? Like, you should do less. That's how you make money. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's not my goal at all. Actually, my dream was to impact. And they're like, well,
That's
you won't
how-
last. And I
Yeah.
was
And
like,
that's how you stand out too, is making a quality product. So one of the guests on my show, he was formulating mushroom supplements. And that's even worse because it's so new. There's even less regulations. And that's what really keyed me into this because he mentioned some of the mushrooms they're doing and pound them and put them into the supplementation.
yeah,
The fruiting bodies have almost all the benefits. Then the roots of the mushrooms, the mycelium, have some, but it's like 3% compared to the fruiting body. Yet some of these supplement companies will take all that mycelium with the fruiting body, grind it all up, and
Right.
they can still call it 500 milligrams of whatever supplement Lion's made. But that's
Correct.
not the same as his fruiting bodies only, no mycelium, but can get away with it. So now I'm like, oh, no, I need to know
you
the
need to
founder, know they care. And
Exactly. And I was just in India and I met my suppliers in Hyderabad. I met new suppliers in Bombay. And the Bombay team, they are doing so much science on ashwagandha. And I was in heaven. I was like, I cannot believe you've tested this on this many patients. This is insane. But they talked about how they own the farms and they work specifically with farmers on which part of the ashwagandha root they're going to get. Because if it's the big branches versus the small branches versus the root, completely different result. But when you buy cheap ashwagandha at the grocery store, they just ground all of them together and gave them to you. They're going to produce some result. But I won't produce a formula unless I know I produce the complete result because I'm making it for me too. Like I want the complete result. And so I haven't made an ashwagandha formula for 3 years because I've been waiting to test one that I actually thought moved the needle. Because why put it in anyone's hand if it doesn't deliver the complete result that they're asking for? And that's what
Exactly.
makes me mad about the supplement world. I learned years ago that I think it was the Wall Street Journal that went and tested supplements on the shelf. And they found that like over 70% of them didn't have the active ingredients at the levels that they said. And I got so angry because I was like, when I take C and D, I really need them to work at 100%. I'm not playing games when I take my vitamin. And that really shifted my attention on like how I make things, because I'm always pushing for like, what can we do that's better? Where can we increase absorption further? Like, how can you drive more potency to get the best result?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. What about the herb? I can't even pronounce it. And I don't know if it's in the Ayurveda system, but the shilajit or whatever.
Yes,
How do you?
Shilajit. Yeah, Jeet is like, I pronounce it Shilajit, but everyone pronounces it in the West right now Shilajit. So Shilajit is actually from like a tar and a resin from the mountains of
Yeah,
India. I think it's also produced in Russia. And Shilajit is so good for you in the way that turmeric is. Like turmeric does all of its things. Shilajit is known for like vitality, energy, potency. It has a lot of different benefits to it. I tried to make a formula and my factory was like, nope, we can't assure the cleanliness
mm,
and potency and purity of this ingredient. There's too much adulteration that happens with that ingredient. So I'm testing one again right now, but I'm still concerned. Like, how do I guarantee? I'll
yeah.
probably have to go to India and inspect the supplier myself, and then only would I make it. Because what if they're just crushing up black powder and teeth?
Well, that's good to know because I've had that on my radar, although I've never heard too many people, at least that I know, that are swear by it. And then ashwagandha, but now talking to you, that'd be a great one to add in. So
Yeah, ashwagandha I think is wonderful. I think it's as effective. It's not as effective. I love turmeric for what turmeric does, but
yeah,
it's like my number
for
two
certain
right
things, yeah.
after. So I take it at night. I take it during the day. Like I do think that the level of stress coming at us, whether it's like environmental burdens, EMF, mental stress from just the world right now, it all adds up. And if we're not consistently putting something in our body to support battling that, I do think that we're allowing damage to the body that we don't even realize in the long run. Yeah.
Well, cool.